Welcome to State of Awareness. My name is Danny Wright. I'm just going to get right into this. You don't have a thinking problem. You have an identification with thoughts problem. People inherently think they are their thoughts. They think that, okay, I got to flip this thought. I got to do this. I got to do that. And the LOA community tells me that I got to flip my thoughts or rewire my subconscious or do self-concept work. And all of that is exhausting. Because it's exhausting to be a person. It's exhausting to be the fucking human, all right? We don't need to sit here and fight our thoughts, okay? Because remember, they're never our thoughts. They are just appearing and disappearing inside of awareness. It feels like you're trapped in your thoughts, and you're not. You're the one that is believing that they are you. They aren't you. And the mind just never stops. The mind really can't stop. It's just the awareness just stops identifying with them altogether. You're better off literally just not identifying with the thoughts instead of thinking that you're trying to stop the thoughts. All you can do is just quiet them. All you can do is just meditate, observe, allow them to go in and out, in and out. But you can never just shut off the mind. You can quiet the mind, and that's where a peace of God is, okay? When everything's said and done and all the thoughts are just appearing and disappearing and they're lowering in energy, all you're left with is peace after that, because you finally have calmed the mind down. But the mind will never stop working. The mind will never stop thinking. It's made to do that. But at the end of the day, you don't have to identify with it. And everyone and their mom fucking identifies with it. And this is how you end the loop. Like these thought loops that are just going on rampant over and over and over again. It's because you inherently still believe them. You still are scared of them. Like I heard from this other content creator on TikTok named Alex. He's like, what he's going to dress up for Halloween is he's going to dress up as thoughts and feelings. It's because everybody's afraid of them. I thought that was hilarious, but nonetheless, it's true. We literally, as the person, are afraid of our thoughts, and that's not the case. They are just appearing no matter what, and then they disappear, and there's no reason to be afraid of them anymore. You don't have to fight your mind. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. All right. What you do is you stop claiming them as you, because it was never you. These are just old states of consciousness that are just always appearing. And this is why people don't like silence. They don't like silence whatsoever, because the ego just thrives off noise. It thrives off stimulation. It thrives off always worrying, fixing, and doubting, okay? If it will throw you a issue in your mind, manifest it out, and make you fucking react to it. That's how insane it is, when really this is just an illusion. It reacts to its illusions over and over and over again, all right? So this is the density of choice no matter what. So now you have a choice. Are you going to be identified with the mind constantly, or are you going to sit here and actually choose and declare? Because you can sit here and be like, because I've had a couple people say, well, I don't want to do any LOA stuff. I was like, yeah, you don't have to. Well, I just don't want to affirm. I don't want to do that. I was like, okay, that's fine. But just know internally, and that's going to be in my next video about knowing versus doubting. But it's about knowing this shit. It's not about like sitting here and be like, oh, I got to form a new belief to know. No, awareness is all knowing, the good and the bad. So we take the suffering mind, which is the ego, which doesn't exist unless you place your attention on it. And then you have the all knowing over here, which is awareness. Okay. And so inside of awareness, the ego is a distortion, right? So it's all knowing because it looks at the ego, and then it looks at what you consciously decide as consciousness, as awareness. So it looks at the good and the bad, because no one wakes up wanting to affirm anxiety. No one wants to wake up and be like, oh, you know what, today I'm going to affirm for 10 minutes about sadness. I'm going to affirm 20 minutes for anxiety. I'm going to affirm 20 minutes that my car breaks down. No one does that. It's just because they want to know too if they are manifesting from ego. If how do I know that I'm affirming from ego or not? It's like, you're not, because the ego can only be an unconscious movement, so it automatically throws thoughts at you, but you identify with them. That's the only time that people are affirming from ego, is when they listen to the thoughts that are appearing and disappearing. Overthinking is separation repeating itself over and over and over again, because you believe you are separate from source. You are believing in that moment, because the ego is the belief in separation, that it's not source. It needs to go figure out its own problems. It needs to go figure out its own solutions instead of allowing consciousness to do its job. In A Course in Miracles, it says, I can choose peace over this. And peace doesn't replace the thought. It just reminds you that you were never the thinker to begin with, because we are awareness down here pretending to be the thinker. And so if you're lying there awake and you're overthinking, you're not really fixing anything. You're just keeping the story alive by identifying with it. Awareness notices it and does nothing. It just observes, witnesses, allows it to flow in, allows it to flow out, because now you're separating from it. You're not taking the thought pattern seriously anymore. And this is how you achieve a peace of mind. Like, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That peace of mind is the peace of God. All right. If you allow yourself to just observe it and allow it to just pass through with awareness, seeing it, allowing it to be there, being a full expression, it will die down. No matter what, the mind keeps talking, but you're not the one that's talking. You're not the one that's thinking these thoughts. It's inside of awareness, observing it and being still and silent, watching it. Okay. You can literally do this because you're the awareness the ego talks in, but you're not the one that's talking. Okay. You're not the one that's thinking these thoughts. You're not the one that's doing any of that. It's all apparent inside of your awareness. And this is the issue with the SP crowd, because they'll overthink their desires so heavy to the point where they think they're doing something wrong and it's not even them thinking it. So I know I've brought up in the past about self-concept. Okay. So when someone brings in their desire, okay, the ego can be an unconscious movement. So it's always analyzing behavior. So when they bring in their SPs, they end up analyzing the hell out of the behavior, and then they start thinking incorrectly, and then boom, the SP ends up disappearing. But they don't realize they're doing it because they're more focused in on what's happening in the now moment, or they're so distracted with their thought patterns that boom, they start focusing on them, which causes, because wherever you place your attention at is considered still an intention. So you can set the intentions all day internally, but if you're focused, like your ego's focused on the 3D and focused on them, that's setting in the attention. That's setting in intention. Man, I have trouble saying attention and intention at the same time. But that's why people end up losing their SPs or losing something, because they got focused on what's lacking out here. Oh, they're not showing up for me. So now I got to sit here and work on my self-concept. I got to go do a bunch of things. You don't got to do nothing. Just stop listening to the mind. You can do this. It's not impossible. All right. But you guys are all perfect at this. You guys have been able to do this. You'll shock yourself that you can. All right. So I love all you guys. Remember, it's not that you have a thinking problem. You have an identification with the mind problem. You don't need to identify with it anymore. Let it go. Who cares what the mind says? It doesn't matter.